and we're talking about the crackdown. Even as women are taking to the streets, men are taking to the streets in the heart of Afghanistan to protest against the hardline stance that the Taliban has adopted against women. Well, joining us now is a special guest on the show to take us through what's really happening and to give us some perspective as to what is likely to happen, what can, in terms of steps that can be taken by the world, in terms of, the reactions that are necessary. Mr. Bare Afghanpour, who is joining us live from Afghanistan. Mr. Afghanpour, a very warm welcome to Republic TV. A short while back, we showed our viewers India's stance as far as Afghanistan and the crackdown of the Taliban against women, against their rights in Afghanistan, and how India is so seriously concerned. But from your perspective, you're there where it's all happening. Tell us, what can you tell us about the situation there? Women are banned from higher education. So what next?
Thank you for the question. Few years that before of the Taliban, the many girls and the women are talk with the former government of Afghanistan, the government of Mr.
Mr. Bare Afghanpour joining us live from Afghanistan so that we can get some perspective, an eyewitness account of what's happening. We are hearing details. We've accessed that footage of protests raging across the heart of Afghanistan, a country already torn apart by decades of war, by years of war, and now by economic difficulties. It's reeling under economic and financial difficulties, and yet the Taliban cracking down on women. We go back once again to Mr. Bare Afghanpour. Mr. Afghanpour, we'd like to understand from you, what is the philosophy behind this Taliban, hardline stance against women? Because the message that's going out is that, that basically there can be no development. That's what everyone knows. But what is the philosophy behind the Taliban's crackdown on women's rights in this manner?
Unfortunately, the Taliban for this reaction have not any answer to that they reacted about the women's. This is in the religion, Islam, and they have not any answer that they can say that we take this decision. It's logically and technically for people and women are acceptable. It's absolutely very sure that they have not come back from the violence. They always want to show the violence and against the women's and also in the men's. They want in Afghanistan. And the protest of the women have not a result because they not take they have a mechanism that they will not take a permission. The people, as a protest coming in the road and talking and say that we want our right. They have not a ruled constitution and nothing, and they close all the doors for the Afghan people, especially for women. They have not a mechanism that help to poor people, and many families in Afghanistan that they have not a man. The women are working for the family, and only women have an achievement and. For help their family. When they say the women can working and the foreign organizations and offices, and we will announce it you. and we have not information about that, and until which time they will have this policy, and when they will announce it, we will take the permission to women's, or they can working and going to educational organizations and centers, and they only now want to show the government is a dictatorship, because we have nothing any other answer about them. And in 2-3 days after that, they announced that the school and the universities closed. They have a specially their special forces coming in the streets, and they controlling well,
Right.
without the police check, and they don't.
Right.
The women's can as a protest going and say that it's our right and we want to
Right, Mr.
working.
Barre.
We want to, yes.
Right, right, Mr. Barre. Women in Afghanistan clearly fighting back after that brutal crackdown, glimpses of which we are getting from various sources, and the Afghan Taliban now adopting a very strongly hardline stance against women, banning their rights to work in NGOs. That was the latest, and earlier banning their rights to higher education. Mr. Barre, thank you very much for joining us and for putting some more perspective into what is happening in Afghanistan.